Hello, it's August the 2nd, Sunday, and I had gotten a message on YouTube and started typing back the answers. It had a few questions in there, and I started just typing way too much and was thinking that it just might be better to do a video response. So anyway, thank you for sending questions. I really I enjoy conversing with people and answering questions and sharing ideas and things like that. So thank you for sending the questions, and I'll see if I can answer it. I do want to make sure that I'm not speaking for anybody else but me, and I'm only speaking from my experience and my ideas. And I think that the questions you ask you can watch a lot of videos, and you'll find, I think most people who start participating in the community will talk about some of these subjects pretty early on, but then I think part of the transition might be that you kind of get away from transition, meaning that you realize that you're transitioning to have a life that is not about transitioning. And I don't know, I find myself wanting to do videos of other things also, other than transition, to just because that's most of my life. I mean, right now transition doesn't play a huge part in my life. I still have surgeries and things to do and decisions to make, but I'm kind of just going through the process. So this is my experience, and just things that I think about in your questions. But I do encourage you to look around and talk to other, question other people, because I think you'll get a bunch of different opinions. And as always, I think that the trans community is diverse as any other community, and people have different experiences that they bring to their transition, and they might feel differently about certain things. But so you had mentioned in your questions that you were from a small town, and I wanted to respond to that about, like, Charlotte is not necessarily a big town. It's a very small, large city, and I don't think that people here are more trans friendly or more trans educated even. I think that maybe the difference is that people in the city tend to use their head more often, or they tend to keep themselves in their own business, and so I've had really, really good treatment throughout my transition from strangers, and I've been uniformly impressed by strangers. But I don't think it's that, it's not like I'm in San Francisco or New York City or Los Angeles or a place where there might be more people who are aware of trans. I think that there's not that many people. No one else that I've talked to about it knows anything about trans, as far as coworkers, friends, people that are around me. But they do, seem to catch on and understand, and they don't have a bias against it. So I do think it would be harder to be in a small town. People who maybe don't think about everything every day. You also had mentioned that, question about starting young, and I'm sure you've seen that the effect of hormones lessens with age, so there's always a benefit to doing that. I think as far as young goes, once you get past a certain age and you've gone through a testosterone puberty, that there may not be a difference between 21 or 22 and 23 or 24 or 25. But as the time goes on, and if you get to where, in your 30s, then you're going to get considerably less out of hormones as far as progress and things like that. And I think the goal would be to transition well and to be in a place where you can be happy with yourself. And if you do start earlier, you might find that you don't need surgery or something else. There might be a better effect. So I found myself in a position at 22 and decided that that I wanted to transition, but I made the decision not to, and I don't look back and regret that, because I made the decision I had to make at the time, and it was a different world, and I was in a different place, and there's just so many things differently. I don't think it was right or a wrong decision. I think if I would have chosen to transition at that point, that my life would be different. I don't necessarily think it'd be worse or better, because I have come to a place where I'm happy with how my life is now, and the path that I took to get here, I can't fault. I'm very happy about the circumstances of my life and how I got here and where I am, and my opportunities and where I'm going. So for me, obviously I would like to have transitioned earlier for physical effects of those, the hormones and those sorts of things. But I feel like I'm getting good results with that, and I don't really, I don't regret any of that. But everyone's, I think the thing that took me to learn is that I went through, I was at a crossroads when I was 22, and I was, considering transition, and I felt like it was just the unknown road of transition. Just had all these fears on it and things that I just could not imagine that I'd possibly do. So I took the other road, and that road is a loop. It comes back to that crossroad, and it might take you going around that loop 3 or 4 times till you finally realize that that path is, where that's going. What you're going to end up. You're going to end up back at this spot again, and maybe experience and that sort of thing can get you to a place where you can make that same choice, down the road that looks so perilous and scary and unknown. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see that road for me wasn't anything near my fears. My fears were that I'd lose everything, and I did. So there are benefits, though. There's cost to transition, and at 22, there's no way I could have afforded, $15,000 for electrolysis, which is, what I've spent so far. So that, I think there would have been some logistical kind of challenges that I wouldn't have been able to do at 22. But I also think that, I probably would have figured out some way to make it work.